In today's video, I'll show you how to install and configure Booklore. Booklore is a self-hosted web app for organizing and managing your personal book collection. It provides an intuitive interface to browse, read, and track your progress across PDFs and ebooks. With robust metadata management, multi-user support, and a sleek modern UI, Booklore makes it easy to build and explore your personal library. Let's get Booklore installed. But before we do that, there's a few prerequisites that we're going to need to talk about first. First, you'll need a MariaDB database set up. I've already done a video on MariaDB, so I'll leave a link to that up here and down in the description. So if you don't have that set up, pause it here, go do that, and then I'll see you back here in a moment. The next thing we'll need is we're going to need to create a database, and I'm going to create one using AdMiner. If you don't have AdMiner installed, I've also done a video on that, and I'll leave that up here, and once again, down in the description. Let's get the database created first. My Unraid server, I'm going to go over to my Docker tab. I'm going to find AdMiner, and I believe it's in my database services folder. Yes, it is. Open that up, and I'm going to go to the web UI. For system, I'm going to make sure that it's on MySQL or MariaDB. For server, this will be the IP address of your MariaDB server. Mine is on the demo machine here, 10.0.0.11. Next, we'll need the username and password for your MariaDB instance. Once you've got your username and password, go ahead and leave the database field blank and hit login. Once logged in, we're going to need to go to the top and click on Create Database. The first box that comes up here is going to be the name that you want the database to be named. So click into that field, and I'm going to type in Booklore. I create the database for the name of the application. That way, later on, if you need to go back to it, you know what it is. Makes it easy. Once you've got Booklore in there, go ahead and hit save. Now that the database is created, we need to create a user for that database. Near the top, you'll find several options: alter database, database schema, privileges, routines, and events. We're going to need privileges. Go ahead and click on privileges. And then at the very top, we've got create user. Go ahead and click on create user. Down below, we're going to leave the server alone, leave that as a %sign. Under username, we're going to put in Booklore for the user. And the password, you can choose your own password. I'm going to make this Booklore just to keep it simple again. And then down under privileges, the top option, all privileges, we want to put a check mark in that box on the right-hand side. Once you've got that selected, scroll all the way down and click on save. All right, now let's get into the installation of Booklore. Now that that's done, let's go back to our Unraid server and install Booklore. Back in Unraid, I'm going to find my apps tab, click onto there, and I'll click in the search box and type in Booklore, Booklore. And we find it here in the list. Once you find it, go ahead and click install. It comes up with an intention window, basically saying that we need to create a database. We've already done that. Go ahead and hit OK. First several options are all fine and defaults. So I'm going to scroll down, find Show Docker Allocations, and we'll check and make sure the web UI port is clear. Find your web UI port field, double click on the port number, I hit Control F on the keyboard, it comes up with a find feature and it shows two results, 1 and 2. If those are the only two you have on your system, then you're good to go. If it come up with more than 2, scroll down and look under these allocations and you'll probably see it in use there. If that is the case, you're going to need to change this port number to something higher. I typically increment by 1, so I would change this to 6061 and see if that's available. And you just keep doing that until you find one that's free. 6060 is free on my machine, so I'm going to go ahead and close the find feature here, and we'll move on. All right, next we've got the database URL. The beginning part we're going to leave alone. After the // you'll find the word localhost. Double click on that and change that to the IP address of your MariaDB server. In my case, it is on the demo machine here, so 10.0.0.11. You'd enter your IP address there, followed by a colon, and then the port number for your MariaDB instance. And mine is using the default of 3306, so I've got nothing left to change there. Then you've got another // and then you'll see Booklore is listed there. That is the name of the database. If you'd named yours something different, then just go ahead and change it to whatever matches yours. All right, next field down, we've got database username. This is the username for your Booklore database, and I had created mine as Booklore, so I can leave that alone. Next option down, database password. This is going to be the password that you had created for your Booklore database. I had set my password as Booklore, so I'll change it to that. Just make sure that you enter your database password in that field. Next, we've got data. That is the app data location. That's totally fine where it's at. We'll skip that and go to the next field. Next field down is books. This field here, you're going to click into it and browse to the location of your ebooks. So click on that field, scroll down a little bit, and look for wherever your books are stored. Mine is /MNT/user/data/media, and then it is ebooks. Now you can go back one field here if you want and have more available later on when you go to actual add libraries. You can add other things, comics and ebooks, that kind of stuff. Right now I'm just concerned with ebooks, so I'm just going to leave it at that location. Once you've got your data location set, go ahead and click off that field somewhere to minimize that. At this point, we can hide Docker allocations, scroll all the way down, and we can click apply. And while that's installing, why don't you come join us in Discord? I'll leave a link down in the description. When that's done, go ahead and click on done. We're almost done with the installation. We've got one more thing left to do here. Let's go back to our Docker tab. We'll find Booklore in the list. Over on the right-hand side, if you want to auto start, go ahead and toggle on auto start. And that takes care of the installation side of things. Now, let's go configure Booklore. So over on the left, find the Booklore icon, click on it, drop down, and select Web UI. And here we are at the initial login for Booklore. First thing we need to do is set up an admin account. So in the username field, go ahead and put in whatever name you want for your admin account. I'm going to set mine for demo. Under name, put in your name. And then email, you'd put in the email account that you would like the demo account to be associated with. I have a demo email. I'm going to select that one. All right, next we've got the password field. So in this field, you're going to go ahead and click into there and create your password. Once you've got that created, go ahead and click on Create Admin Account. You're now presented with a login page. Go ahead and enter your username and password, and then log in. And we're in. Now let's create our first library. To do that, in the middle of the page, you'll see a button here that says Create Your Library. Go ahead and click onto that. Library name. First thing we need to put in here is a name for the library, and this is just basically just books, so I'm just going to do one called books. Next, under library icon, you can select which icon you want, and there are several to choose from, so just go ahead and click onto that and select something that fits. You can also, in the top up here, type in stuff, and it kind of filters things out. So I'm going to go with this option right here. It looks like a book. All right, next option we've got is import mode. A couple different options here. You can set it so each file is a book, or each folder is a book with extras. Mine is set up as each file is a book. That's my folder structure. So I'm going to select that. That's the default. And we'll move on. Next option is monitor folders. Turning this on allows Booklore to monitor the folders and look for changes. So any books that get added or deleted, it will automatically update the library for you. I think that's a fantastic feature. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. Once you've got your initial library created, go ahead and hit next. Now it wants to know where our books are located. So click Add Book Folders, and we'll browse to our folders. And setting up the container, one of the variables was books. So that's what we're going to look for in the list here. Books, right there. This is the location that we had selected. In my case, it was the /MNT/user/data/media/ebooks. Once you found your books, go ahead and hit select. If you have other locations that you'd like to add to this library, you can just do the same thing. Click on Add Book Folders, browse to wherever it's at, hit select, and it'll get added to this list as well. Once you're happy with your selection, go ahead and hit save. Now you can just sit back and watch all the books get imported. All right, looks like that is all done. So let's talk about the interface here. I'll give you a little tour, kind of tell you what things are and where things are located, just to kind of help give you an idea of how the program works. We're going to start over on the left-hand side. The very top option we have on the left here is Dashboard. If we click on Dashboard, it's going to take us to the dashboard of the application. It'll show us the Continue Reading section, the Recently Added section, and the Discover Something New section. Under Continue Reading, this is stuff that you've started to read. Once you've started a book, it'll show up in this location, and I'll show you that later on. Next down, we've got Recently Added. Under Recently Added, it's just what it says. Books that were recently added to your collection here will show up. So the most recent one is going to be at the beginning here. And then down at the bottom, under Discover Something New, this gives you the option to just pick a random book. It just pulls a bunch out of your collection and throws them up there. Just kind of give you something different to look at. Maybe spark some ideas. All right, back over on the left, under All Books, it shows you the count of books. We've got 22 in here right now. If you click on All Books, it'll show us the initial page that we had seen when we went into the program. Next down, we've got Libraries with a little plus sign. The plus adds a new library. So if you want to add a new library, you just click on that little plus. Once again, go through the same details, give it a name, select the icon, set the import mode, and then monitor the folders. Hit next, and then of course we need to select the files themselves. If you have more than one library, then the next option down is the name of the library, so you can just click on it, and it'll take you to that library. All right, next down we've got shelves. Shelves are basically groupings of books. The first one is unshelved. These are all the books that are unshelved, the ones that don't have a shelf label applied to them yet. Next option down is favorites. Those are any books you've got marked as favorites would show up there. And then the last option on that left side is Magic Shelves. Magic Shelves is a way of creating your own custom grouping for books. Let's go create one and I'll show you what I mean. So if you click on the little plus next to it, that allows you to create a new Magic Shelf. Shelf name, you can give it a name of whatever you want. We'll name this sci-fi. The next you can select an icon and I'll do something, I don't know, let's see if there's a Wi-Fi one. Kind of sounds sci-fi. There we go. All right, next is the condition. This is the thing that you're going to tell Booklore to look at in order to sort the books out. Since this shelf name is sci-fi, then I probably want all the sci-fi books listed. But if you wanted to fine-tune it more and do sci-fi by a certain author, you could fine-tune these rules and adjust it to exactly what you want. So under condition here, we want it to be and. You can also set or, but in this case, we just need and. I'm going to add a rule. And then under field, I'm going to drop down and I'm going to look for categories. Then for operator, I'm going to change this so it's equals. So the category equals. And then what? What do we want that category to equal? In this case, we want it to be science fiction. So I'll type in science fiction and that should be enough. So let's go ahead and hit save filter. And it tells us our shelf is saved successfully. We can close out of this now. And over on the left under Magic Shelves, you'll see the sci-fi shelf listed here. If we click on it, it currently says 0. We have no results. If we go back to all books, obviously this Arthur C. Clarke 2010 is definitely a sci-fi book, but why isn't it showing up? Well, on all the new imported books, they might not have all the metadata yet. So let's take a quick look at that one and see if there's metadata for the categories. I'm gonna go into that, we'll look, and you'll see there's very basic details here. It's missing some stuff. I'm just gonna do a quick fetch of metadata and see what results come back. There we go, that one's listed under fiction. Science fiction did not come up, so I'm gonna go up to edit metadata, and under categories here, I can add in science fiction manually. Once that's selected, I'll hit save. We'll go back to the all books, and now you'll see we have a result for science fiction. That takes care of the left-hand side. Now let's go talk about the top options. Up at the very top, you've got the Booklore logo. If you click onto that, that takes you back to the dashboard. Next over, we've got the hamburger menu icon. Clicking on that will hide the left side over here, like so. Clicking on it again brings that information back. Next over, we've got search. This is a search box, and it searches for pretty much anything you'd like. You can type in the title of a book, so like 2010, comes right up. Type in an author, and it filters out all the authors with that name. Over further on the right, on the top, we've got some little icons up here. The first one is Book Drop. For Book Drop, what that does is you can set up a separate folder to monitor that you can just drop books into, and Booklore will automatically grab the stuff out of there and import it into the system. When we created our first library, we had set up the option to monitor, which is basically the same thing. So anything that gets added to the folder will automatically get imported or removed from your book library here. So for me, this seems like an extra unneeded step, so I don't use it. Next option over is create new library. This is where you can go to create a new library. Like I said, you can also do that over on the left here by clicking on the plus. Next option over, we've got the option to upload books. Clicking on this will bring up another window, and then from here, you can just drag files in, and you can select which library you want it to go to and which book location. And note, it has to be a book file itself, not a folder. So it only supports PDFs, EPUBs, CBZs, CBRs, and CB7s. Go ahead and exit out of there, and let's go to the next option, which is stats. Stats is pretty amazing. There's a lot of information in here. Some really cool stuff. At the very top, you've got the basic stuff, how many books you have, how many authors, how many series, publishers, and your total library size. Basic stuff. But down below, this is where it gets neat. Reading status. Currently, you've got no status, 21 books with nothing. They haven't been touched. Next option over is formats. How many books of each type do you have? According to this, I've got 18 EPUBs and 3 PDF files. Next over is your book metadata score. So you can kind of get a quick look and see how stuff is. Blue is good, means you've got the metadata, Your descriptions are there, page count, all that good stuff. And it gets progressively worse as it goes around. Next one over is books finished per month. So it shows you a breakdown by month for the last several years of how many books you've read. That's kind of a neat feature. And I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but take a minute, look through these. It's some really neat stuff. Top 25 authors, top 25 categories, and they're all color-coded. Monthly reading patterns, reading velocity timeline. It's just lots of great stuff. Reading habit analysis. Lots of thought went into the statistics here. Pretty good stuff. All right, next option over at the top is the little gear icon for settings. There's lots of settings in here too. You can go in and change settings for the app. Under user, you've got the ability to create additional users. Email is where you set up the email side of things, so you can just email books to your devices. Naming patterns, how you want the books and stuff named. Authentication, if you got a separate authentication server, you can connect it in here. And the last option is devices, and this allows you to sync stuff with Kobe devices. I don't see anything for Kindles, but doesn't mean that it's not coming. I don't know if it is or not, but it would be nice if there was Kindle support. All right, back at the top, next item over is a little bell icon, and this is the notification history. If you click on it, it shows you've got 2 notifications right now. Shows you what they are. You can dismiss them in here if you'd like. All right, next option over is the little heart. This is the support option. So if you want to support Booklore and what they're doing, you can give them a star in GitHub, buy them a coffee, a couple of different options. And then the next option over is the little paint palette, and that is your color settings. So if you wanted to change the primary and surface colors, that's where you do it at. Next option is the little eye icon. That is just as it says, the documentation. So if you have any questions on the program itself, how it works, any features, you can go there and take a look. Next to that, we've got our profile. This is your profile settings. Here, you can edit your profile, and then you can set the password. Then the last option there is logout, and that obviously logs you out. All right, let's go back to all books, and we'll talk about the main body part here in the center. At the top, we've got a little gear icon. This is the display settings. If we click on there, we can look at collapsing the series. If you have multiple books in a series, like the Arthur C. Clarke Odyssey series, those are considered a series. So if we click onto that box there, it'll collapse all those. And then if you find them here, you'll see a little number in the top corner telling you how many books are in that series. Clicking into it, you'll see the 3 books. All right, we'll go back to all books, go back into display settings. I'm going to turn that feature off right now. Next option down is the grid size. We can adjust the slider here and it'll show more or less books in this page. And then the sidebar filter sort. So the stuff over on the right-hand side here, this is how you want the stuff to be sorted. Right now, it is by book count from high to low. If we change this to alphabetical, A to Z, once we're refreshed, it'll change this and put them in alphabetical order. I'm gonna leave that in the default and click off there to get rid of that. All right, next over, we've got these double arrows, and this is the sorting. Selecting this will change how we want the center section sorted. So if we click onto it, you've got lots of different options. You can sort by page numbers, by title and series, authors, whatever you'd like. Lots of options there. All right, next item over is this series of little boxes. This toggles grid versus table view. So if you click on it once, it goes to table mode. And if you click it again, it goes back to the grid layout. Next to that, you've got the search option again, and that search is just like the one above. Same exact thing. Next over, we've got the 2 little double arrows, and what this does is this will toggle the sidebar over on the right-hand side on and off. So if you want a nice clean interface, you can toggle that, click on the little hamburger menu option up there, and it gets rid of the menus from both sides. Cleans it right up. I'm gonna turn both of those back on to the defaults so we can see everything. All right, now last, over on the right-hand side here, we've got the filter mode. Right now it's on and, but we could do or, and then we can filter out by pretty much anything you'd want. If you want to do like by page count, you can go down there, expand page count, and you can sort by the books that have 200 to 400 pages. Click on that, and it shows you those books. Now note here, if you see this little 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever the number is next to the item here, that means that you've got a filtering option selected. So if you click onto something else, it's going to include the previous one plus whatever you selected on. So right now we're filtering by books that were published in 2015 and that have a page count of 200 to 400 pages, and we have none. So to turn those features off, you just go back to the item that you had selected filtering, click on it again, it disables that, And now you'll see that we've got 2 books that were published in 2015. Once again, I'm going to click on the 2015 to clear that filter, and I'll go back to the series option on the top. All right, now let's talk about the books themselves, a little bit about how to go into them, how to read a book, how to edit the metadata, that kind of stuff. So find a book that you would like to look at. I'm going to select An American Life, this one by Ronald Reagan, autobiography. If you hover over it, you'll see 2 little icons. You've got a little eye and then a little book. We're going to go click on the little eye, and they'll take us into the book so we can look at the information on it and edit the metadata from there. Once you click on that little eye, you'll see all the book details. You'll see 3 different options across the top. Right now we're on book details. Let's talk about that for a moment. Here, you've got the option to do several different things. One, you can just look at the basic metadata for it. You can give it a rating. Let's say you've read this and you thought it was fantastic. It's a 9. Select the rating that you'd like for it. If you want to reset the rating, click on the little reset button, and it resets it back. Down below, it shows you what library it's in, what type of file it is, the reader status. Right now it's not set, so it hasn't been touched yet. File path, if you want to look at it, click on the little icon, shows you exactly where the file is. Publisher, Booklore progress, we've got no progress, so it's not available. Page count, we don't have any of the metadata for this. There's no description. If you want to read the book, you've got the option down below to read it. If you want to put it on a shelf, click on shelf, select whatever shelf you want. Let's say it's a favorite. Hit save. Now over on the left-hand side, you'll see we've got one in the favorite. If you want to download the book, you've got the button there to download it to your machine. Quick send, once you've got the email feature set up, you can click on quick send and it'll send it to your device. Auto fetch, this automatically fetches the metadata. So you come in here, you're like, oh, it's missing the page numbers and all that good stuff, the description. A quick click on auto fetch, it'll go out and fetch the metadata, doing its best guess as to what the book is. Give it a moment and it should populate it. And there we go. You'll see it's got the categories here: biography and autobiography, American history, autobiography, memoir, US presidents, all those different categories. It's brought in the publisher, page count, publishing date, ISBN numbers, and down below, it'll give you a description of the book. At the very bottom of that page, you'll see similar books. Got the option for notes here. You can add notes about the book, and then also reviews. All right, let's go back to the top and we'll talk about the next option over, which is edit metadata. If you needed to edit the metadata manually, you click on that option and it brings up all the fields, allows you to manually go in and set whatever metadata you want it to be. Once you've made your changes and you're happy with it, bottom right, go ahead and click save. Next option over on the top is search metadata. Let's click onto that real quick and I'll show you about this. This is basically a manual search, allows you to look for metadata manually for the book. So if you've got a match that automatically, like I had one the other day, I did this and it came up in, I think it was Chinese. While the information might have been right, I couldn't read it. I had no idea. So I went in, did a manual search here, found the proper book, selected it, and then it gives you the option to be able to select each item and import it. The fetched metadata is on the right and the current metadata is on the left. So let's say this is the actual cover of the book. You could click the little arrow, it puts it over on the left-hand side, and that book cover would be assigned to it. Each item down below is set like that. If everything is correct, then at the very bottom, you've got the double arrows. That'll move all the fields at once, and then you're all done. Once you've got the book selected and all the changes that you want, in the bottom right, you click save. I don't need any of that. All the existing metadata was fine, so I'll just get out of that, and we'll move on. Let's go back to the dashboard. So on the dashboard as well, if you find a book that you want to read, you hover over it. You've got the same eye to go into the information for it, the book details. Clicking on the little book below will actually open it up so you can read the book. Click on it, and it brings it up. And I believe this one is a PDF file. Yes, it is. So we'll get out of here, and let's go find another one. We'll go back to the American Life one. Click on the book, it brings it up. This is an EPUB viewer. Progress says we're currently at 1.9%. On the left and the right sides, you'll find little arrows. This allows you to go to the next page or the previous page. Every time you click on it, it goes to the next page. Notice the progress in the top corner. Some of the options in here real quick. We've got a little menu bar, drop down. You can just jump right to different locations, different chapters, that kind of stuff is there. Click on the little X to get rid of it. On the top right corner, you'll find a little gear icon. Here, if the color isn't quite pleasing for your eyes, you can go in here and change it. If you'd rather have it inverse, so it's dark with white font, you can do that. If you want to make it gray or kind of a sepia tone. Once you've got it selected, if you click back on the page, it's actually going to show you the proper color for it, like that. We'll go back in there. Right now it's on paginated, so we're going to do one page at a time. If you go to scrolled, it's going to change it to a scroll option, so you can just go in there and scroll up and down and just keep scrolling. Whatever your preference is. Line height, letter spacing, you can set all that as well. Font size on the top. You can also change the font. Right now it's using the book's internal font, whatever it's set to by the book. X gets you out of there. Currently it says we're at 2.4% of the book. There is no back option. To get back, you just go ahead and close out the page and you're back to your books. Now if I refresh, under continue reading, you'll see that the book that we just went into is now under the continued reading list. Shows you a little progress bar at the bottom, just a little tiny sliver right there. There you go. That pretty much covers everything Booklore has to offer. If you have any EPUBs, PDFs, or CBZ files, Booklore has you covered. Overall, I found it rather easy to set up and use, and I think it makes a great ebook application for your Unraid server. Give it a shot and let me know what you love about it. Let me know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, consider becoming a Patreon. Patreon members get early access to my videos, and they are ad and sponsor free. The link is in the description. Until then, check out one of these next. And I'll see you in that one. Patreon members get early access to my books.